Hey, Pewter.
Welcome home, sir. For your information, Robin is trying on costumes in the Batcave again. He's doing some pirouettes and Batrishnikov.
A modern podcast where Chris and Mike talk about TV, movies, superheroes, and everything in between. It's time for Superhero Slate.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name's Mike Royer.
And this is our spoiler cast for the Lego Batman movie. Woo!
Yeah! Lego Batman is finally upon us. This is our first spoiler cast of the year because it's really our first superhero movie of the year. I think most people, including us, consider this a bona fide superhero movie.
Yes.
It is the Lego Batman movie. This movie is very much focused on Batman, which I thought was an interesting way to make a sequel to a Lego movie and not concentrate too much on the Lego aspect of it. But yeah, we're here to talk about Batman, and we're going to talk about all of Batman.
That's right. There are spoilers in this. We're no holds barred. We're going to go at it full force. And, it's funny you mentioned that, the sequel to the Lego movie is the Lego Batman movie. And then we didn't even know this, but walking this, we got there's another sequel to the Lego movies, the Lego Ninjago movie. So, I don't know. We might think that's spoiler cast worthy when it comes out because this movie was off the chain. I tell you what.
Yeah.
My favorite DC movie in years, if I was going to be honest with you.
It was hilarious. It has like that perfect Lego brand of humor, which I think when people think of a Lego movie, that's what they're going to think about. They're going to think about the interesting visuals with making a movie out of Legos, and also they're going to think about kind of the referential humor. And I think that's awesome, and that's what we love about the Lego humor. But this movie had a lot of humor, but also had some feels to it. It had some feels. What did you feel about those feels?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely has an arc, a character. It has more character arc than most of the other movies we saw. Again, and not to go back to harping on Batman v Superman, but like the Batman in this one, he starts off being cool and awesome and like very one-sided, like I work alone, and then coming around to say like he needs a family by the end of it, and he wants to work with his Bat family. I definitely agree with you. It's got heart, it's got character arcs, and that's something a lot of real life movies can't pull off. And so I'm glad they were able to pull that off in this animated movie, a very visually stylized animated movie. So
yeah. But if you are curious about our theater-going experiences, you can go check that out on our normal weekly episode of Superhero Slate, episode 108. You can hear how our trip to the theater went, but this is going to be all about Batman and the story. And let's just start, I guess, at the beginning. All awesome movies start with a black screen.
Yeah. So I mean, he's narrating over the black screen. He's narrating over all the production company icons. He's like, I don't even remember what the one was. And this might be a trend for me on this one. Like, I like this movie. I had a great time, but very, very forgettable, sadly. So, I know, I forget, but he's like, it's very, very macho. I don't know what they do, but they're very macho. And Will Arnett's voice, like, he just nailed it. He just hit it right out of the park with this, man. Like, everything he said was gold. Very Batman gold.
Yeah, Will Arnett makes a really great, I guess, humoristic Batman. I don't know if I could ever like take him like brutally serious and ever be like terrified of him, which I think is a component that a real Batman needs. But I thought I think he added well to the long history of Batman, which is brought up quite a bit in this movie. I think they instead of like referencing what it's like to be a Lego in a Lego universe, they talked about what it's like being Batman in Batman's universe, and they went all the way back to the 60s, so nothing was off limits, which I thought was really great.
Well, it actually went back even farther when they were showing him in his old costumes, like the original costumes from the original comic books he showed up in. And so, I mean, if it has happened to Batman in a comic book or a movie, it has technically happened to this Lego Batman. And that was great for him to either reference those things or poke fun at them. I mean, they definitely had their. I mean, for a Warner Brothers produced movie, they still poked fun at the other movies that came out, even as so much as a Suicide Squad recently. So I think that was really good, and I think we talk about Will Arnett being the voice. I think all the other voice actors really rounded this out really well.
Oh yeah, they did a great job. You were saying on our normal episode that Michael Cera did an awesome job as Robin. I would totally agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the bright-eyed, orphan who's like, looking for that dad figure, the padre figure, if you will. And he just nailed it. Zach Galifianakis steals the show as that Joker. And like the way his like sharp teeth are there, or like one of them's pointed out when he's frowning. There's so much animation, like emotion in their faces for these little Lego figures.
And speaking of the animation, I thought the action was really awesome too. Like this was like a pretty cool action sequence movie. We start with Batman basically taking out all of these villains while he puts like a butt kicking theme song. I don't remember exactly what playlist he loaded up when he started kicking butt, but that was really, really cool. And so that. I think the reason maybe why when you bring up and you say this movie is forgettable, I would almost give it the benefit of the doubt of saying that just so much is going on in this movie that it is kind of hard to remember exactly what you have seen. I think this movie would benefit very much from a second watching, just because even though we have already seen the Lego movie and we already love the original Lego movie, it's almost still surprising to see a whole movie made out of Legos. They really bring you right into it when they start the movie with this giant Lego plane flying through the sky, and they go even to the detail of putting like the condensation water along the plane, which is like, wow, that's a really high level of detail, and you're like, oh, they're really polishing up. And then these bad guys swoop in with their like flame cutters, and it's just the iconic Lego transparent Lego flame cutting the back, and that kind of really brings you back into the goofiness of the Lego universe. And then they get you right into the referential humor where the two best friend pilots are just like, oh yeah, we're just here transporting basically all of this dangerous stuff. Can we fly right over your really populated city?
The most crime-ridden city in the world, and we're gonna fly over. Is that cool? And he's like, I'm looking at people. They look okay with this. Let's go. So the jokes they hit so fast. Like I don't know if there's a second wasted in this movie, to be honest with you, in terms of puns, word plays, or just visual reference humor.
Oh yeah, I mean, I had to get up and use the bathroom once, and I ran as quickly as I could, and I'm sure I missed at least 5 jokes in that time, just because the joke density is just out of control. But I mean, if we were going to try to like, I guess, organize our thoughts a little bit, what did you think overall about the story?
Oh, I think the story, it's a great Batman story. I mean, it's kind of more like a love story, really. It's because it's about Batman and Joker. The Joker wants Batman to hate him, and Batman's like, well, I don't want to hate you because then I'll have been connected to something. And that's the whole point of the movie, is the Joker trying to get Batman to care enough to hate him. And Batman trying to figure out, does he need to be doing this alone his whole life? So I think it was a great story. I think it's great for adults. It's great for kids. And it's just fun. And yeah. I mean, honestly, I didn't have a problem with most of it. Like, I think it's a great adult story.
I think it's one of those. Awesome stories that if you found a way to maybe make it a little bit more mature, obviously it couldn't be filmed in Lego. Like I think this could translate to live action. Basically, the story. You have basically a grounded Batman who just really doesn't want to be alone, but he's kind of forced to be alone because he lost his family. It's a dark story, and he's trying to keep everybody else at arm's length because he's like afraid of losing them. So when he goes back to his Batcave all by himself, it would be kind of sad, and like he disrespects Alfred, which was kind of sad, but he came back around eventually. But I thought the story was solid. We got to go around the universe a little bit, and we got to peek in on the Justice League, which I didn't expect it to be a moment where basically basically Batman also didn't have any friends. You were at least expect maybe, I don't know, Green Lantern or the Flash to like Batman, but no one likes Batman. He's like the guy at the party that no one wants to hang out with. Maybe just because he's too brooding and too sad all the time and thinks he's too awesome. But that was kind of cool to see that little bit of a cameo there, and they did a cool job of kind of making the MacGuffin of the story to be the Phantom Zone projector, and it didn't seem weird or out of place, because it's like they're lucky enough to where everything in the Warner Brothers universe is at their disposal. So why not bring Superman's thing in?
Yeah, exactly. Well, see, that's the thing with I played the Lego Batman video games. And once they got to the point where, like, oh, well, we have Superman and Wonder Woman and all these other, like, Justice League people, like, Batman doesn't seem as cool because he's not as powered as those people. So it was cool that they were there, but they didn't they weren't imposing on the story as well. However, I'm going to have to go against it, but, like, my biggest complaint against this movie is the last act. Is all the villains are from other Warner Brothers properties and not actually Batman villains. And if they're gonna reference the Justice League and not use them, cool. But like, we don't need to know that Sauron from Lord of the Rings is like one of the big villains in this movie.
Yeah, I will admit it did seem kind of weird to kind of be focused so much on Batman for the majority of this movie. Like, we're in Gotham like 90% of this movie. We're only seeing Batman villains, and even the really obscure ones that are worth the Google, if you
Condiment King.
So yeah, it is kind of weird to kind of bring in these other properties, but I guess it's like it's kind of like a low-hanging fruit over there at Lego, because they can easily grab any of these franchises and throw them in the movie. So maybe there does need to be some restraint with them. Like, I think maybe when you think about their next movie, Ninjago, I would think nothing is going to pop up in that movie, right? That would be kind of weird if like a Batman or Wonder Woman or another intellectual property popped up in their own original IP. So maybe that we won't see that over there. But
I'd like to think so, but I feel like, hey, kids know Harry Potter, or kids know Batman, or Batman was like, let's throw in a splash of Batman here at some point in the trailer. Like, Batman thinks these ninjas are dumb or something like that. I don't know. I feel like you're right. It's low hanging fruit, and for the audiences targeted at children, it could be a problem overall. But I thought some of the villains they did bring in were kind of cool. Like, again, Voldemort. So the actor who plays Voldemort, Ray Fiennes, was actually the voice of Alfred, and the guy who voiced Voldemort was not Ray Fiennes, who actually played him in the movies.
Yeah, I believe Eddie Izzard was the voice of Voldemort, if I remember right in the credits.
Yep. There's Lord of the Rings, King Kong, as you pointed out. And I think the biggest grab, and something they used sparingly, thank God, were the Daleks from Doctor Who. And I think that was a big grab because, they got that real robotic voice, like exterminate kind of thing.
Let's not forget a cameo I thought I would never see in a movie, and the very least would see in a Lego movie, but very pleasantly surprised is we got to see the Gremlins. That was so cool. I don't know how you felt about that.
Oh, I mean, I'm not too precious on Gremlins, but I definitely agree. I was more kind of like, they have a T-Rex and the Velociraptors from Jurassic Park in the background as well, so I'm all on board. I mean, it was great to see them. I'm not going to deny that.
See, look at that. We were kind of upset at the low-hanging fruit, but at the end of the day, we kind of like the cameos too. So I mean, maybe that's just what you kind of have to expect with the Lego movie, is like you're going to get the Lego humor, and then also you're going to get basically what made them the toy giant that they are, is all the IPs that they can stretch out and attach themselves to.
Yeah, I mean, they are fun to see, but at the same time, I'm like, they had hundreds, it felt like, of Batman villains there, and only some of them just got a couple seconds of screen time. Like, I felt the Riddler was underplayed, simply because the Dark Knight Rises version of Bane got more voice time, because he was like doing his Batman kind of voice. I can't do it right now because it's on the spot, but
he's an intimidating guy. When he's using the bathroom, he's going to give off that vibe of, hey, I'm using the bathroom right now, maybe you should come back later. So
yeah, exactly. So I mean, I'm on board with some of it, but I really want to see more of those Batman villains kind of come to the forefront there, because like you said, this is going to benefit so much from repeat viewings, and I'm not going to be bothered by throwing this on once every couple weeks to find what new things are in the background. What Batman suits did we miss other than Reggae Man, in there? So
yeah. So speaking of the characters, I think the major question here is, who did you like more? Did you like Batman more, or did you like Robin more? Because I thought both of their characters were just awesome.
Yeah, it is really hard to say. I think I liked them better when they were together. Like, essentially, like Batman found out. Like, I liked him better because Batman's like, do this, do that. And he's like, you listen really great to me, man. We make a great team because you do what I say. And Robin was cool. I think he, again, Michael Cera throwing in a wrench. Like, I thought he was kind of done for a while, and then he comes in with this voice and knocks it out of the park. So I don't know. I like them both.
Yeah, I just want to say, I've always been a fan of Michael Cera. I know there's a lot of people out there that I guess they just rub him the wrong way. Maybe it's just because he's typically playing the same role in most movies, but I've always been a big fan of him. He's in one of my favorite movies of all time, Scott Pilgrim. So I'm always happy to see Michael Cera pop up on the credits of a movie. So yeah, I thought the Robin was great. He just had that ridiculous, optimistic part of him, tweet, I'm in the street. Just the jokes are so funny. Like, just thinking back to him now, once they pop in my head, like I'm just smiling from ear to ear because they're so funny. So I mean, like, I feel like they could just make anything a good movie. They could make any,
as long as they put enough care in it and they're not just throwing stuff at the wall and see what sticks. But again, one of my favorite, when Robin first meets Bruce Wayne, he's like, my name's Richard Grayson, but the kids at the orphanage call me Dick, and he's like, well, kids can be mean sometimes. And
yeah. I think that was the biggest response joke in the theater for sure. I think that's just because all the adults maybe weren't expecting probably such a mature joke, but it is one of those, like, it's like one of those perfect, I would kind of call it like a SpongeBob joke. Like, SpongeBob is full of these mature jokes that would fly over kids' heads. But so that one was just awesome. I laughed out loud for sure at that part.
Yeah. Oh, one cameo I did mention in the characters, Billy D. Williams voiced Two-Face. Whenever they had like all the villains there kind of at the end.
Yeah, Conan O'Brien was also the voice of the Riddler too, but the Riddler was, I wouldn't even, I think his voice was in it more than the looks of the Riddler almost.
Yeah, well, Billy D. Williams played Harvey Dent in the live action 80s Batmans, which I thought was a cool throwback, I guess. So that's what that was. That was so many cameos. Now when they showed shark repellent for the first time and Batman's like, wait, that's a bad idea. You can keep that. I'm like, they're gonna need the shark repellent later.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing is, I didn't even know the shark repellent was a callback to the classic 1960s Batman.
Oh, okay.
Because I've barely seen any of it. I've seen the only thing I've actually seen of the old Batman is just in GIFs. So him running around with the giant bomb, and I know there is a scene where he's like hanging from like a helicopter, and there's like a shark like attached to like the ladder or something, but I don't remember any sort of shark repellent. But yeah, they do set up that scene to where like, oh, we're definitely going to see that shark repellent later. And then when they have that kind of like dopey shark kind of come down from the fans, it's just like, yeah, he's going to get sprayed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and throw on, I mean, I keep forgetting this, but Rosario Dawson was Barbara Gordon. And we know her from all the Netflix stuff she does with Marvel right now, so that was kind of cool. I think her character was really good, Barbara Gordon, aka Batgirl. So it was fun. It was a good movie. I had a really good time with it, and it's hard to find things I to say, like, to pick it apart. But my biggest complaint is all the extra things at the end I didn't know. Like, bring it back to Batman.
I would say if I had a complaint with the movie, I think I would put it under kind of the look and feel of it. This was very much a Batman movie, so really grounded it in Gotham. But I thought it could have maybe been have a little bit fresh air in it. They did go to the what's
Fortress
Batman's
of Solitude?
I knew Solitude was involved in there somehow. The Bunker of Solitude, whatever. Yeah. So they do go there momentarily, and it's kind of nice to get a little bit of a change of scenery. But then we end up going back to Gotham again, and I never really felt too precious about Gotham. I didn't really care if it got ripped apart. I just kind of cared about Batman and Robin and the characters. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they could have just gone to... I don't know. Maybe they could have gone to like a neighboring city. It would have been funny if they went over to Metropolis for like a second.
They did.
Maybe.
Well, they also referenced Bloodhaven, which is like the sister city to Gotham, where Nightwing watches over. So they did reference that a couple times. So I agree. It's they had the coloration. If you were to make a Batman movie, this would, in live action, this would be the same color palette you would use in a live action Batman movie. So, in the fact, yes, we could have seen something different, but at the same time, like, they nailed it. It looked like a Batman movie for sure.
Yeah, but also, I've seen some people online say that they thought the movie kind of coasts the last third of the movie. It just seems to be almost just one long extended trek to beat the villains, and I could kind of see that once you kind of get back to Gotham from the Justice League. But overall, I thought it was a really fun movie. But I think the almost the lion's share of our conversation here would be talking about all these Easter eggs. We've talked about them here a little bit, but it's just full of a bunch of awesome stuff that I just want to bring up.
Yeah, well, again, the password to the Batcave is Iron Man sucks. Which was I can't believe they would do that. Like, I'm like, oh, there's gonna be some Superman joke, but they went right with the Marvel joke, and that was awesome. So every time he showed up in the Batcave, and everyone at the end, they're like, Iron Man sucks, and they're like, yeah. That was fun. And what was it, his second super secret password to the Bat computer was Alfred the Butler with 2 T's, and he lost his shit when he was laughing at his
that
joke.
was funny. I lost it too when he did that, and who doesn't like a good butt joke, you know?
There's always a butt joke in the Lego movie. As the Ninjago trailer shows, there's a butt dial. So definitely that, and Robin ripping his pants off. I'm glad they had a different scene of Robin ripping his pants off for the movie than the one that we saw in the trailer a million times. I thought that was much more interesting than that. So what do you think? My question to you is, real quick, when they go to the Phantom Zone, there's that regular 8 spot brick that glows different colors when it talks. Is that a reference to something I missed?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm like, I don't get this. I didn't quite gather it on that one, so I didn't know if that was an Easter egg. All right, what do you got, Mike? What do you got for us?
Well, so what I want to do is I kind of want to talk about all of these other properties that popped up when it comes to the villains, because I actually had a question for you. So if you have a question for me, I have a question for you.
Throw it at me.
So we got to see Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, King Kong. We saw some Doctor Who, Wicked Witch, Jurassic Park. I kind of want to put this more lingering question above you: is if they end up doing another movie based on an IP, what do you think it's going to be?
Ooh, so I tell you,
I mean, it doesn't have to be any of the ones that we saw in this movie, but I mean, I guess just assume if there's been a Lego set of it that hasn't been a Marvel thing, they could probably do a movie on it, you know?
Warner Brothers also owns the movie rights to a lot of these as well. That's probably why they won't do Marvel, but they on the last 2 movies, they've really hit us over the head with both Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings. So if I was a betting man, I would say one of those 2, simply because probably Lord of the Rings, because Harry Potter has the prequels going on right now, and Lord of the Rings has nothing. I don't know if they'll ever come back to Lord of the Rings. So
well, I think that's awesome that you brought those 2 up, because I was thinking to myself, Harry Potter would be a good idea to do it, because they referenced Harry Potter in the first Lego movie. I think they leaned on it even more with Voldemort in the second movie, and I think they are looking for movies that they can be humorous about, kind of make fun of themselves with a little bit, and there's just a lot of lore there to explore. And also, thinking of Lord of the Rings, that would be awesome. I think that would work out really well, but I thought maybe it would be funny if they did a Harry Potter Lego movie, but then they don't focus on Harry Potter. Like, I thought maybe it would be funny. The movie would be like, what's it like going to Hogwarts the year after Harry Potter leaves? So maybe like the school's just in destruction and disarray, and there's all these new rules because it's been destroyed. Or I thought it could be funny, maybe we just follow this brand new character that is going to school while Harry Potter's already going there. So maybe he can't go to class and can't get his homework done because there's always something crazy going on at the school, and maybe he goes back home during breaks and his parents are just mad at him because he's got these bad grades, but he can't help it because his school's always getting destroyed. So I thought that could be funny, and people are always talking about like, oh, what do you think those kids are actually doing with those spells? I'm pretty sure they're doing some misbehaving type of stuff. So I think I think that they're not totally done with these intellectual property movies, you know.
Oh yeah, exactly. And maybe they take a page and blend them together, because there's both magic and fantasy in both of those worlds. Rather than trying to separate it out, blend them together. Because Gandalf and Dumbledore kind of look the same. What if he's like gaslighting, going from back and forth, being the same person, but like changing his mask back and forth between the two worlds.
Maybe they call it like the Lego Magic movie or something like that, or sorcery movie.
Yeah. So I mean, either way, like I think that's an opportunity, and to do that, because even in the first Lego movie, Vitruvius gets them confused. He's like, it's Dumbledore. He's like, Dumbledore. It's like, you're gonna have to write all that down. I don't remember any of this. But other than that, I don't think the other ones are very, like, the properties we saw are too ripe for that, unless they want to do a Universal monster movie kind of thing with all the monsters. But
yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if we're gonna get either of those. But that's a good question. That's a really good question.
Yeah, I know it is a good question because I've been thinking about it. But if we had to circle back around to these Easter eggs, I think obviously you can tell by the beginning of this episode that we love the iPhone Siri references. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, well, yeah. So yeah, the voice of the computer they called Pewter was Siri voice, and now you can actually go to your iPhone, activate Siri, and be like, "Hey, Pewter," and it'll give you back some Lego Batman response. So really fun to see Apple play into that as well. They're like, "All right, you know what? They're doing this. Let's go ahead and add it in here," kind of deal. Something else I thought was kind of one of the funnier scenes. I thought when Robin gets in the Bat car for the first time, they're driving down the street really fast, and he's like, "We don't wear seatbelts," and then the old lady's crossing the street. And he slams on the brakes, and Robin hits the front of the car. Like, physical humor on Legos is great. And Batman's like, I'm just gonna hold my arm right here. Like, we don't have seatbelts. But that it's actually a reference to Batman Returns, when the Penguin steals the Batmobile and is driving it down the street really fast, about hits an old lady in it. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't even pick up that reference, but that's cool. My favorite references in the movie when they were kind of referencing. How many times can we use the word reference in the spoiler cast? But I liked it when they were kind of calling back to the older Batman movies. Someone mentioned about Joker doing the two boats things, and that basically goes back to the Dark Knight with Heath Ledger's Joker. So I thought that was really funny. And then they also referenced the Suicide Squad a little bit in this movie too.
Yeah, they do. Like Suicide Squad, that's a horrible idea, and which is even funnier because that movie didn't. I mean, I think it made more money than Batman v Superman, but like it was still bad movie.
Yeah, or when Killer Croc swims down at the beginning of the movie to arm the bomb, and he goes, "Yay, I helped," or "I did something," or something. It's like, yeah, Killer Croc, that is kind of what you're for.
Oh man, there's so much good stuff going on in that. And then there is a callback again, like you said, reference that he's a master builder to the first Lego movie, which kind of says you don't have to watch the first Lego movie, but if you haven't seen the first Lego movie, you're gonna be surprised. I went in with very low expectations. I'm like, oh, Legos, like how cool can Legos be? And that movie just knocked my socks off.
The answer is pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, it is. But so that's cool, and this one has a little callback to that, but it doesn't rely on it too much. So that's a benefit.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I want to do right now is watch the movie again. Like we keep talking about it, and I keep grinning from ear to ear, and I just want to rewatch it. So I think to wrap things up, if I had to kind of give this movie a review, I kind of would do the same thing I did with John Wick almost, where I compare it to kind of the first in the franchise, where John Wick 1 and also the Lego Movie 1 had the advantage of kind of being unique and fresh. They both got to kind of approach filmmaking from a new kind of point of view, and their sequels kind of try to do more of the same that we loved, but they just don't have the advantage of being new and fresh. They kind of have to reinvent, add something new to the story, which it worked really, really well in both cases of both of those movies that both came out on the exact same weekend. But they're still good. I think this is a solid addition to what it looks like we're going to get, a whole Lego cinematic universe.
Yes, the Lego cinematic universe. Something we never thought we'd ever say out loud. And honestly, to be quite frank, this is kind of maybe this movie more so than the first Lego movie has piqued my Lego purchasing interest in anything.
They're hitting your wallet. That's all they care about at the end of the day, man.
Yeah, well, I think they are hitting my wallet in more ways than one. So now I have several Lego things laying around here, and that's a problem, but not a. I mean, it's not pop vinyl problem, but it's a problem. But I'm really looking forward to getting some. Like, my wife bought me the Sentry and Black Bolt Lego figures last year for Christmas, and they're just little minifigs, but I love them, and I think Legos are cool things to have. Every kid should have Legos growing up. And now that they can grow up watching Lego movies as well as playing with their Legos, that's even better to go with that. If I was to give this movie, I put this exactly on the same level as the first Lego movie.
Oh, okay.
To me, because there are things in the first one that kind of like I don't want to watch because I'm a little bored with them. There's a couple of moments where that one dips down. And in my current memory right now, the Lego Batman movie doesn't have as many of those dips. But the jokes like in that one are good. Like in the first movie, they have the what is it? Are you ready for this? And the basketball players build a thing and they flick it, and he's like, "Oh, they were ready for that." My favorite line in that whole movie. So I like the bad jokes, the bad puns. Really, I love it a lot. If I was to give this on a scale of 1 to 5 lobster thermidors, I would give this a solid 4.5 lobster thermidors.
4.5 lobster thermidors. All right. Well, you make sure you warm those up in the microwave before you serve them to your guests, okay?
Oh, most certainly. Where else are you going to cook them at? On the stove? No, you heat them up in the microwave. So, yeah, I mean, that's it. For me, I think, as you can tell, we are very, very happy with this movie. Want to watch it again, and I just had a great time with it. So
yeah, it's a good start to the new year, and hopefully we can keep the train rolling when it comes to Logan next month.
Yes, our next one that we have scheduled is Logan, unless I somehow see John Wick 2 between here and there. But we'll see how that goes. So in the meantime, Mike, if have you ever drawn Legos? That's my question for you. How hard are Legos to draw?
I don't know. I mean, I had an urge to draw some after I watched this movie, but as you can tell, they're pretty rigid. So there's not going to be a whole lot of curve to them.
So having played the Lego, I'm a big Lego video game fan, and when you buy the Marvel Legos, they come with a little comic book, so to speak, and they actually have a very two-dimensional, very flat artwork style. You saw the picture of Batman and his parents, and then Robin and the crew. That's the artwork in the comic books and like the panels in the games when you read their comic books. Awesome. So I didn't know if that was something. They rely a lot on shading, so I didn't know if that was something in your alley. But if you get the urge to draw some Lego stuff, Lego versions of you and me, maybe, wink, wink. Where can people find that? I know you'll post that somewhere. Where can they find it?
Well, if people want to check out what I'm drawing, they can follow me at Mike Royer Design on Twitter and Instagram, and you can read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. A couple years ago, I did a Batman comic, and it almost seems to align with a lot of the dialogue that Will Arnett says, where it's basically just a series of him going, "I'm Batman." So you can check that out over at pickledcomics.com. But Chris, this is hardly the first movie that you've talked about this year on a podcast. So if people want to learn more about what you're talking about, where can they follow you?
Well, you can follow me on Twitter at Valdan, VALDAN. You can read my stuff on Comic UI, or as Mike said, my other show, Filmside Chats. We recorded our first episode of this year. Moving to a bi-weekly format because it's so hard to watch movies and stuff for this show, let alone 2 shows. So we're gonna do that, but really, really cool. Really excited to talk about the Academy Awards, the history of the Academy Awards and the Oscars this year. It's not a prediction show. It's just like where did they come from, what do they mean, kind of deal. It was really cool. It was a really good time. So there's that, and again on Twitter, Valdan, VALDAN. I'm gonna post some of my Lego pictures today, maybe. So if you guys want to see some of the Legos I got, I'm ready to show them off. Ready to show you guys what I got.
Yeah,
man. And again, this is spoilercast 21 for us, maybe. I think I don't know. Our spoiler casts are moving right up in the world. I'm really excited for that.
There's been a few.
So if people want to find more spoiler casts or maybe subscribe to our regular news show, where can they do that at?
Well, as always, please visit superheroslate.com. That is the best place to find all the avenues we host the show. We are on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Tumblr. You can follow us and get us right in your email inbox. And you can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. And you can buy some of our merch over at superheroslate.com/store. And I think we're also up on Instagram now too. Our branches are spread long, just like Groot is Groot. So if you're a fan of the show, please consider leaving us a review wherever you watch the show. Drop us a comment, drop us a like, drop us an upvote, whatever you got to do, and we'll really appreciate that. And if you're a super fan of the show, all you got to do is share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, and we will be here every week, Chris.
Yes, every week, Mike. And I actually, on second thought, I'm a call to action to people. If you have any favorite Lego figures or Lego sets that you have and you personally own and built, send them to us. I want to see them.
Oh, yeah, I love it. I love building. I got like in my little Lego collection under my bed right now, I think I have a custom-built robot that I did. I get really into making their joints function properly, so I got a little robot under my bed right now.
Oh, that's really cool. I like those. The one and I have a Hulkbuster I got yesterday from my wife, like I said, and its chest plate opens up and the helmet comes, so you can put Iron Man in it.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it's pretty kick-ass. So I love seeing Legos. My wife really wants they had the Disney Princess Castle from Disney, and it's a big set. It's probably the most expensive set I've ever seen. So if you guys got Lego sets you want to show, I want to see them. So, but until next time, I guess we'll see you guys on the next spoiler cast for Logan and on the regular show every week. So we'll catch you guys later.
All right, goodbye, everybody.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.
Hello, sir. I've heated up your lobster thermidor in the microwave. I'm one step ahead of you, Alfred.